What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Eclectic Beard Gaming and Reactions. Let's go around. We got 10 things the UK does better than the US. So, I'm just being honest with y'all. I was trying to take a look to see what sports that y'all have that we don't. There's not a whole lot of. I think if somebody was to make a video of the sports the UK has that the US doesn't, you might take and actually hit on something. I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it out there because I'm a big sports fan. Alabama shirt, University of Alabama hat. Uh, love watching American football. Um, yeah, but I know y'all got stuff like cricket and other things like that over there. So I mean, seems like somebody would make a video list of stuff y'all have that we don't, because people might play cricket here, but it's not like it's a big thing. Like you say, ask somebody if they want to play cricket, and they're looking for little bugs. That's all I'm just saying. Somebody might want to look into that maybe. So here we go. 10 things the UK does better than the US. Y'all forgive me sometimes.
It's impossible to say which country is the best in the world. However, a case can be made for some countries just being better than others, at least in specific fields. These are 10 things the United Kingdom just does better than the United States. Many Americans often mock British people for still having a queen. They often say, "Get with the times, you're not free if you have a monarch. Your tax money is just being wasted." Well, the truth is that US taxpayers have to pay more for their leaders. In 2014, the British royal family cost UK taxpayers just £35.7 million, while President Obama and his family cost US taxpayers $1.4 billion in expenses that same year. So when it comes to cost-effective leadership, the Queen of England, ironically, is less expensive than the President of the United States.
I'm just going to say this because this is not very surprising to me at all. I mean, at all. Between all the golf that I don't care what president it is, they're going to cost more. Just because I'm going to go vacation in Costa Rica, or I'm going to take and go vacation over at Camp David. I'm going to go vacation on my freaking ranch out in Texas, and then you got to take and move all the Secret Service members, and no matter they own the daggone joint, that don't matter one bit. You still got all the logistics that take and go along with this crap. But they take and go to Hawaii, like has been done by previous presidents, or yeah, just this doesn't surprise me at all. I wonder how it is for y'all's parliament members versus our U.S. senators, because they also get per diem and different incidental travel stuff that's added to their coffers and everything else, out of pocket. But whenever you make, I don't know, $400,000 a year and another $100,000 and basically per diem and travel expenses, well, not hurting all that much if you decide to take and travel or go on vacation. Just saying.
The studies are in, and the verdict is clear. Roundabouts are not only more efficient than US-style traffic intersections, they're also safer. Mythbusters even tested this theory, and they clearly demonstrated that roundabouts allow for 20% more cars to pass through in any period of time than what is possible in an intersection. Another advantage is that in a roundabout, drivers don't have to bring their vehicles to a complete stop. This has been shown to be safer for both drivers and pedestrians. So all in all, in this area, the UK has the US beat when it comes to traffic control.
Dude, I completely agree with that. I wish they would catch on. They're starting to catch on here. My wife hates them. I love roundabouts. They're so much more simple than taking have to stop at a full way red light and then watch two lane, or I say four lanes. Like you got two lanes on that side, and two lanes on this side, and two lanes on that side, or yeah, two lanes over here that are turning, but two lanes that are also going to that, that are coming from that direction, but also another two lanes going to that direction. So these big old highways, roundabouts, in my opinion, would be a lot better. It's just a lot more efficient taking and getting vehicles moved through there. Because it's not like you can't see where the break in the action is to take and get your car into the flow of traffic to get out for the turn that you need to take. Absolutely love roundabouts. I think we should wholesale adopt them.
The average intelligence of each country in the world is something that has been rigorously studied over the past few decades. Well, the results are in, and quite embarrassingly, people in the UK are smarter than people in the United States. The average IQ of the United Kingdom stands at 100, while the United States falls short with an average IQ score of 98. This may not seem like a lot, but those two crucial points are enough to make the United States fall below the mean European IQ, which is 100. Many people argue about the cause of this, whether it be better schooling or higher standards of living, but the facts don't lie. When it comes to IQ, the UK is superior to the US.
That's, yeah, not surprising at all. I live here. I could have told you that's probably a given. Just saying.
Now that you know the differences in average IQ between the US and the United Kingdom, it probably doesn't come as a surprise when you learn that the UK actually contributes more to science than the United States, at least on a per capita basis, which is the metric that divides the number of scientific papers published by a country's scientists and divides that number by the country's population. This results in a number that gives you a good idea of how scientifically productive a country is on average. Well, in this category, the United Kingdom has the United States outclassed. The UK publishes 1.424 scientific papers for every 1,000 citizens, while the United States only produces 0.988 scientific papers per every 1,000 citizens. This gap in contributions in the world scientific community is a point of pride for people living in the United Kingdom, and this is certainly an area where the United States should try to catch up.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Here, you've got a lot of these corporations that are paying scientists, and these papers, the reports that they do write, a lot of times aren't taken and published for the general public's knowledge, like in the scientific journals and stuff like that. No, no, no. They are paid to take and pad their stats or pad whatever agenda they have and give it to the government, and then the government takes and does their policy writing accordingly. A lot of times, even for stuff like over there, my understanding is y'all have a lot more favorable view of vaping than what is done over here. Even your Royal College of Physicians or something like that. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head what y'all's name for it is, but they said that it's 99% healthier than what smoking is. And over here, they're like, oh no, there's all kinds of health risks and stuff like that, even though that's yet to be here. There's been no scientific study that's not been paid for by R.J. Phillips, or Philip Morris and R.J. Phillips and or now Ariada, to take and actually prove that. And the ones that are, they're taken and pushed down. And you've also, oddly enough, have like the Lung Cancer Society and the American Heart Disease, or the Center for American Heart Disease. You've also got them taking and bashing it, which is as a means of smoking cessation, which makes absolutely no sense, as most people that actually do vaping wind up with better lung health and overall health, because you don't have the tar and stuff like that that causes cancers and adds to the blood pressure. And it's weird. But over there, y'all figured out a lot of stuff that over here that the corporations won't let get published.
The United Kingdom possesses the most productive offshore wind farm in the entire world. This world-class installation is the Greater Gabbard Wind Farm, which produces over 1.75 terawatt hours of clean and renewable energy every year. The United States, and indeed the rest of the world, has nothing that can compete with this installation. In fact, the United States doesn't even have a position in the top 25 most productive offshore wind farms, while the United Kingdom holds the top first, second, and third spots, with Denmark being its closest competitor. The UK's superiority doesn't just end there, however. The United Kingdom is the largest exporter of offshore generated wind power, which means that not only is the UK producing the most offshore wind energy, it's also creating enough to supply other countries.
That's crazy. 1.35 terawatts. Holy crap. That's insane. Don't ask me why the I would say don't ask me why, but it's the oil companies is a reason why that a lot of the we've been slow adopters to cleaner energy in this country. Um, Not going to completely get rid of petroleum and petroleum products or oil products basically because of things like plastics and even a lot of valves and things like that that are made in industrial settings. Uh, However, the need to use gasoline, oil products to take and heat everything like that, whether it be diesel or propane or kerosene and things like it's crazy like how slow they've been at adopting things. And I say propane and stuff like that, but diesel to take and run these machines that convert the coal that help burn the coal and load the coal. And it's crazy how slow we've been to adopt cleaner energy. We're just now getting to where we see more and more like small solar fields, and I'm talking about like small solar panel fields next to like our substations and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it seems like this is something that, but with you got BP and Exxon and all these other places that have the money going in, they're not going to want that because then that takes and their hold on the energy industry at large. It makes them not only them but also coal. It's just you might hear a couple rants on this one. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Just as with wind power and scientific papers, the United Kingdom is better when it comes to producing authors and great works of literature. The UK tops the charts of publications per capita, with only China and the United States beating out the country in absolute terms, despite the UK's much smaller populations. Overall, the UK produces 2,875 titles each year for every 1 million inhabitants of the country, while the United States only produces 956 titles for every 1 million inhabitants. This is an even more impressive feat when you learn that the UK has only 1/5 the population of the United States. So when it comes to books, the US is still quite a few chapters behind the UK.
I'm just gonna say this: when I was growing up, I loved to read. I still read. A lot more of my reading is done online these days, especially for my other channel where it's centered on like tech and EVs and even stuff like with my videos taking a looking at the TT Isle of Man and um, here's shortly the Irish road racing and stuff like that. I do a lot more reading in that way, but also if I'm wanting to take a read about what's going on in politics or things, or if I'm doing my looking at running a session or for my next session of Dungeons and Dragons with my brother and his friends, as I'm a DM, I do a lot of my reading in that way. So I don't read a whole lot of books the way I used to, but I still take a lot of knowledge. But one thing I have noticed here in the last 10 years in this country, like the amount of people that read is just like it's declined. And my fear has been I don't know how many of you have seen that movie Idiocracy, but that's kind of the way we're headed in this country. We're almost halfway there. It seems like I'm just saying. Hopefully, I don't understand what it is. It's between our education system and it's almost like kids have an aversion to reading, even though you can visualize better what you're reading than what even can be done via like YouTube or especially movies and TV series. I'm just it's it's crazy and sad to see all at the same time because kids these days that are coming up don't know what they're missing out on.
While it is true that Hollywood is the film capital of the world, and as a result produces more films per year, this doesn't compare to one of the UK's greatest film achievements. The most successful film franchise of all time is a British film franchise, the James Bond series. The James Bond series was the first to gross over $1 billion in sales, and is still the highest grossing film franchise. It seems that people still prefer the cool, suave charisma of Agent 007 to the loud action and violence of most American films.
Well, Sean Connery, hello. My wife loves that dude. Like, I don't think she even likes James Bond movies, but she likes him. Well, I mean, it's only been going on since the '60s. I mean, so it's kind of understandable at that aspect. But yeah, even taking that, just taking a look at y'all's television series, stuff like Doctor Who. I mean, it's been going on for how many years now? And that's not exactly film, but it's still television, and it all ties into to a screen somehow.
If you're a fan of watching YouTube videos, this is probably the most important category where the UK is better than the US. Despite having invented the internet, the UK has the US outclassed when it comes to average internet speeds. As of 2015, the average connection speed in the UK was 13 megabits per second, while the US only had an average of 12.6 megabits per second. So the next time you're in an argument with a British person on the internet, remember that they probably have you outclassed in internet connection speed.
Okay, that's kind of splitting hairs on that one. Just throwing that out there. That was kind of weak.
Of the 118 known elements on the periodic table, 24 were discovered by British scientists. This is more than any other country, and further reinforces the case of British superiority in the sciences over the United States. This number includes crucial elements such as hydrogen, sodium, xenon, and platinum. The US, however, wasn't totally outclassed by the UK, as the country did discover 21 elements on the periodic table, and as a result, earns a very respectable second place. This is probably the greatest sign of the UK's importance and massive impact on the shape and history of the globe. As a legacy of the once great British Empire, countless flags around the globe still bear the Union Jack. From Australia to New Zealand and even Fiji, over 20 major flags around the world contain the Union Jack in one form or another. Perhaps the most interesting and most humorous is that the number includes the U.S. state of Hawaii, which prominently and proudly displays the Union Jack. The very first flag of the young United States, the Grand Union flag, even contained the Union Jack as well. While countries such as Liberia and Malaysia have similar flags to the U.S. flag, these are poor facsimiles at best, and are vastly outnumbered by countries, states, and territories that still fly the Union Jack with pride. For more top lists just like this,
All right, so there we have it. 10 things the UK does better than the US. Okay, so the internet speed, that was weak sauce for number two. Just gonna put that out there. That was very weak. That was pretty weak sauce. 13.2 to 12.6. And 0.6 difference. Not, I get it. I get it. It's still better, but that was weak. Now, the Union Jack thing, one of the other videos I do want to I want to take a look at a video. I want to look at something that shows how big the British Empire was at one time. How many countries that either the UK, that England either controlled or had major influence in. I want to see that because the flag thing, that's a given. It's England is way older than the U.S. I mean, going back over 1,000 years. That's no, it's no big, even at least the starts of it, you know. So it's not really that's not that surprising, but it shows the influence of a country that's got some seasoning on it, shall we say? So there we have it. 10 things the UK does better than the US. Some of these I could go into a little bit more just for the simple fact of I like uh, talking about certain stuff like the green energy, I've got kind of conflicting, almost kind of conflicting viewpoints on that because on the one hand, yeah, we won't get into that right now. It's just there's a lot of stuff that goes into that because yeah, same thing with the education um, and everything of that nature. There's so much stuff I can get into because the U.S. for all its superiority, we've just fallen so far behind, and for the money that's spent per capita, you would think we'd be further ahead, but it just hasn't worked that way. Who knew? Um, yes, y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.